Hey guys, welcome to another video. This time I have a video slightly different from a normal vlogs. Here I have a 21-inch 4K iMac, which I've just recently bought, mainly for making and editing YouTube videos. And I think this is the best value Mac you can buy for YouTube editing and for YouTubers looking to start out. So I'm going to unbox this guy for you and let you know why I think it's the best for YouTube beginners. As with all things Apple, we have a box inside of a box. So let's get this thing open. And there it is, the 21-inch 4K iMac. The design has changed very little since the first iMac with the huge bezel, which is kind of odd because everything's kind of becoming bezel-less, but the design of this hasn't changed. So let's stop staring at the box and get this open. So before I get this thing open, I just want to let you know the specs I decided to go for this iMac. This has a 3.4 GHz quad-core i5 processor, 16 GB of RAM, a 256 GB SSD, and a Radeon Pro 560 graphics card with 4 GB of dedicated video RAM. So without further ado, let's get this thing open. The first thing we have in the box are the accessories. So in here is a Magic keyboard and Magic mouse. I just went for the standard configuration, so let's take a look at this. So as everything is, designed by Apple in California. So let's take a look at this. So here we have, take a look at this first. This is the Magic mouse. So here it is. This has changed very little. You can see my reflection. Still, I believe, with the stupidest placement of the lightning port down at the bottom, so you can't use it whilst it's charging. But hey, that's Apple. And then down here we have the Apple Magic keyboard. So let's get this out of its packaging. Hopefully this will give us a satisfying swoosh too. More of an aggressive swoosh. Put that off to one side. So here it is. The design has changed slightly. I have an older version of this. It's now a little bit more bricked. It's now rechargeable via lightning cable as opposed to with batteries. But other than that, standard keyboard. So Apple like to tease us with everything else before we actually get to the main attraction. The reason I enjoy unboxing Apple stuff is it's really an occasion. Unlike many other kind of tech stuff that I unbox, it really is an occasion, and I hope you guys are enjoying the unboxing as much as I am. We have a power connector. Most of the iMac unboxings I've seen on the net have been US, as you would expect. So it's good to see a British cable. So now let's do the fun part and take off all the plastic. So at the beginning of this video, I said that this computer here, this Mac here, was the best for people looking to start out on YouTube. So let me explain why. So here we are on the Apple website, and as a first port of call, I'm going to rule out a few of the Macs that I don't think are right or are suited for people starting out their YouTube channel. The first three are the iMac Pro, the Mac Pro, and the Mac Mini. The iMac Pro and the Mac Pro, solely because of expense. These are devices that, you know, push on the £5,000 and above barrier, and many of the professional YouTubers I follow, you know, John Morrison, Marquez, those guys use these kind of devices, but they're not really suited for people with, you know, smaller budgets like most of us. The Mac Mini also I'm ruling out just because it hasn't been updated since about 2011 or 2012. So in terms of longevity, this is not really the device that's going to be best for starting and kind of expanding your YouTube channel. So I'm also going to rule out the MacBook and MacBook Air solely because these two devices made by Apple are mainly for consuming data, consuming information, and also producing, things that we all do on a daily basis at work, with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and just browsing the internet. So these devices aren't made, and they're not really suited for editing and making YouTube videos. So for the purposes of this video, we really want to focus on either the MacBook Pro or the iMac. So let's take a look at the MacBook Pro. So if we click on buy, so we have two choices for the MacBook Pro. We either have a 13-inch or a 15-inch. Both come either with a touch bar or without a touch bar, and the touch bar being this fancy kind of bar at the top, which is interactive, which changes depending on the app that you're using. So as a kind of reference, let's take this touch bar Mac for example. So it comes with a 3.1 gigahertz dual-core i5 processor, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of SSD storage, and an integrated Intel graphics. Now, although this computer will work fabulously with Final Cut Pro because of the way Final Cut Pro is made to work specifically with Mac, the reason I don't think this is the best value device for YouTube starters is because these integrated graphics, yes, they work fine now, but in 2 to 3 years, is it going to stand the test of time? And if you're spending close to £1,800 on a laptop, you're going to want it to last for a good 4 or 5 years at least. The dual core processor also, for the first year and a half, fab. Beyond that, it will slow down your workflow. And one of the things about YouTube is the easier it is for you to make videos, the more you'll want to make. So you kind of really want a device that's going to last the true test of time. So if we look at the 15-inch then as an alternative, this solves many of the issues the 13-inch doesn't have. It has a dedicated video graphics card. It has more RAM. It has faster processors, quad core. The reason the MacBook Pro for me doesn't make sense is solely the price. You're touching nearly £2,500 for a laptop, and if, like myself, most of your editing is not actually done on the go and it's actually done at home at a desk, then the MacBook Pro doesn't really make any sense, because essentially what you're paying for is for the top technology in the smallest, most compact package. And if you don't need that compact package, then the MacBook Pro doesn't really make any sense. And so, like myself, actually what makes more sense is actually an iMac. This is because you get identical specs as you do to the MacBook Pro, or very similar specs, but you're not paying for that kind of convenience of having it all in one really small package. And so if, like me, you're doing most of your editing at home, then actually an iMac makes a lot more sense in terms of value for money and longevity. So if you are choosing an iMac, you've got two choices really, between a 21.5-inch and a 27-inch. And there are some differences between the two. The 21.5-inch has a 4K screen, the 27-inch has a 5K screen. However, most YouTubers shoot in 1080p still. We're still trying to get into 4K, so that's not the kind of be all and end all. And really kind of space as well. The 27-inch is quite dominating, so depending on which room you're having it in, the size will kind of lead you to one or the other. The iMac that I decided to go for, and the one which I unboxed it earlier in this video, is this one here with a few upgrades. So what I decided to upgrade was the RAM from 8 gigabytes to 16 gigabytes. The reason being, this will just crisp up and sharpen my workflow and make it just a little less frictionless when editing and snipping clips and making clips faster, all that kind of good stuff. The second one being, I changed from a 1TB Fusion drive to a 256GB SSD, because one thing that I've always been told is to favour speed over capacity. I have hard drives which I back up all my clips and everything to, so it made more sense for me to have a fast SSD in the computer which I can use
when editing videos, but then store all the clips on the hard drive so that if I ever need to access them, they're all there. And then the iMac has a dedicated graphics card, which the 13-inch MacBook Pro didn't have, and is the same one as we saw on the MacBook Pro 15-inch. So this for me really ticked the right boxes in terms of longevity, performance, and most importantly, price. You know, this computer starts out at a base of just under £1,500. Now, if we compare that to the MacBook Pro price, we're talking about a saving of nearly £800. And that's not a small amount of money. And for someone who's kind of thinking about longevity and value for money, in my opinion, this iMac, the 21.5-inch 4K iMac, is the best value for people looking to start out and build a YouTube channel.
So there you go, guys. My brand new 21.5-inch 4K iMac, which I think is the best value for money for people starting and looking to grow their YouTube channel. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.